Good morning, everyone. We opened the record today in Poweshiek County for day 2 of the defendant's motion to suppress. The defendant, Mr. Rivera, is present, along with all the attorneys of record. Record should also reflect that the 2 interpreters for Mr. Rivera are present. They were sworn in yesterday, and I will remind each of them that they remain sworn in by the court. Mr. Brown, I'll turn to you first. Does the state have another witness at this time?
Your Honor, we do not. We've chosen not to call our last witness that we had scheduled, so we're completed with our presentation and we would rest at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. With that, then, we'll turn to the defense and they may call their first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would call Alejandra Cervantes Valle, and she is a Spanish-speaking witness. Your Honor, we do need to use the judge's recorder to record the interpretation of this.
No, didn't serve me. That's good, Chair. Go ahead and be seated, ma'am. You want a chair? Just pull one of those down from there. Pardon me? There you go. It's about it.
Do you want to start? It has to stay on the station.
Make sure I bring back to Susie with you. All right. Ma'am, could I get you to stand up, please, so I can swear you in?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand, please, and turn to face me?
Should I just look at him?
Look at me, yes. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you, and be seated. You may proceed.
Ma'am, please state your full name for the record and spell it also.
Mi nombre es Alejandra Cervantes Valle.
My name is Alejandra Cervantes Valle.
Please spell that for us.
Deletrea eso para nosotros.
Ok, es Alejandracervantes
Okay, it's Alejandracervantes Valle.
Alejandra, where do you live?
Alejandra, ¿dónde vive usted?
En Tama,
In Tama.
Tama, Toledo.
Tama, Toledo.
How long have you lived in Tama, Toledo?
¿Cuánto tiempo lleva viviendo en Tama, Toledo?
Vivo ahí desde el 2006.
I've lived there since 2006.
Ma'am, you were born in Mexico, is that right?
México. ¿Es correcto eso?
Sí.
Yes.
And when did you come to the
¿Dónde
United
vino usted a los
States?
Estados Unidos?
¿Dónde o cuándo?
Where or when?
When did you come
¿Cuándo
to the United
vino usted a los
States?
Estados Unidos?
En el 2003.
In 2003.
How old were you?
¿Cuántos años tenía usted?
17 años.
17 years old.
Since 2003, you've resided in the United States, is that right?
¿Estados Unidos? ¿Es correcto eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you a United States
¿Usted es
citizen?
ciudadana de los Estados Unidos?
Sí.
Yes.
Now, ma'am,
Ahora, señora.
you have a fair ability to speak the English language, is that right?
Para hablar el inglés. ¿Es correcto eso?
Un poquito, hablo muy poco.
A little bit. I speak very little.
Right.
Muy bien.
And as far as my client, Mr. Rivera Bageno, how do you know him?
El señor Cristhian Rivera Bageno. ¿Cómo lo conoce a él?
Porque es sobrino de mi esposo.
Because he is a nephew of my husband.
Are you and Mr. Bageno Rivera close?
Rivera tiene una relación cerca?
Sí.
Yes.
Before he was incarcerated, did you spend time together often?
¿Pasaron tiempo juntos con mucha frecuencia?
Sí.
Yes.
How often, approximately per week, would you see my client?
Lo veía a mi cliente.
Casi una vez cada semana.
Almost once per week.
Now, my client worked at Yarraby Farms prior to being arrested, is that right?
¿Es correcto eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you give the court any sort of estimate how long he worked at that farm?
¿Por cuánto tiempo trabajaba él en esa granja?
Creo que hacía turnos hasta de 12 horas.
I think that he did up to 12-hour shifts.
And then for how many years do you believe he worked there?
Usted que él estaba trabajando ahí.
No estoy segura.
I'm not sure,
Pero creo que fueron como 4 años.
but I think it was like 4 years.
Now, your family,
Las familias de usted.
you all speak primarily Spanish, is that right?
Principalmente español. ¿Es correcto eso?
Sí.
Yes.
So would you attend family gatherings with Mr. Bageno Rivera?
A las reuniones familiares con el señor Bageno Rivera.
Sí,
Yes.
When you'd have family gatherings, would you speak primarily the Spanish language?
¿Ustedes hablaron el idioma español?
sí.
Yes.
As far as your knowledge of the workers at Yarabi Farms, were they primarily Spanish speaking?
Ellos principalmente eran hispanohablantes.
Sí,
Yes.
So is your knowledge of Christian's daily life,
Del día diario de la vida de Cristhian.
even though he was in the United States, he was able to primarily speak the Spanish language, is that correct?
El idioma español. ¿Es correcto eso?
sí.
Yes.
Do you know how much education my client has?
Mi cliente tiene.
Sí,
Yes.
How much?
¿Cuánto?
tiene solo cursó 9 grados en México.
He just went to school for 9 years in Mexico. We're going to clarify, 9 grades in Mexico.
So the ninth grade is how far?
Sí.
No, hasta donde llegó.
Sí.
Yes.
Describe
Describe
Mr. Rivera, Bagena's
la
personality.
personalidad del señor Bageno Rivera.
Muy tímido,
He's very shy,
pero ya entre familia era muy gracioso.
but in the family, he was very funny.
So when you would have family gatherings, he would be more, I guess, exciting and more engaging, is that right?
Más involucrados y más emocional.
Sí.
Yes.
He'd tell jokes.
Él contaba
Oh,
chistes.
todo el tiempo.
Yeah, all the time.
What about, you've been around my client when he's not with people he's familiar with, is that right?
Con personas que conoce. ¿Es correcto eso?
Sí, él es muy callado, muy tímido.
Yes, he's very quiet, very shy.
So this funny personality would kind of withdraw if he was around people he didn't know.
Cuando él estaba con personas con quien no conocía.
Sí.
Yes.
How did you find out that my client was at the Poweshiek County Sheriff's Office the night he was
En la
arrested?
oficina de la policía del condado de Poweshiek, la noche que lo arrestaron.
Ajá. Mi cuñada le habló a mi esposo.
My sister-in-law called my husband.
And your husband contacted you?
Y su esposo habló con usted.
Estábamos juntos.
We were together.
All right, what is your husband's name?
¿Cómo se llama su esposo?
Delfino Valle.
Delfino Valle.
Valle would be the same as your last name, is that right?
Es el apellido que usted tiene.
Sí.
¿Correcto eso?
Correcto.
Yes, correct.
Can you spell Delfino for the court reporter?
Delfino para la taquígrafa.
Sí, es D-E-L-F-I-N-O.
Yes, it's Delfino.
So you're with your husband and he gets a call, is that right?
Recibe una llamada. ¿Así es?
Sí.
Yes.
What information did you find out at that time?
Se le contaron usted en ese momento. ¿Qué?
Nos dijeron solo que a Cristhian se lo habían llevado del trabajo la policía.
We were just told that the police had taken Cristhian away from work.
After you found out that information, what did you do?
¿Qué hizo usted?
Nosotros nos fuimos para la estación de policía.
We went to the police station.
What time approximately did you go to the police station?
Se fueron ustedes a la estación de policía.
Nosotros llegamos a la estación de policía alrededor de las 8:30.
We got to the police station around, Turbo's going to clarify,
8:30.
8:30.
Be 8:30 at night?
8:30 de la tarde.
Sí.
Yes.
Did you go to the police station as soon as you found out about Christian being taken there?
¿Lo habían llevado a Cristhian? Ahí.
Repítelo otra vez.
Could you repeat that again?
Did you go to the police station as soon as you found out that Christian Bageno Rivera was there?
No, 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 solamente nos dijeron eso, fuimos a la estación de policía.
No, we were told that, and then we went to the police station.
Okay, so you went to the police station right away.
Sí.
Yes, yes.
When you say we, were you with anyone when you traveled to the police station?
Sí, iba con mi esposo.
Yes, I was with my husband.
When you got to the police station, was there anyone there?
Sí, el esposo de mi cuñada.
Yes, my brother-in-law's, she was going to clarify.
El esposo de su cuñado.
Sí, de mi cuñada.
Yes, my sister-in-law's husband.
Ujú.
Who is that?
¿Quién es eso?
Se llama Luis Medina.
His name is Luis Medina.
Can you spell that for us?
¿Usted puede deletrear eso para nosotros?
Sí, es L-U-I-S-M-E-D-I-N-A.
Yes, it's Luismedina.
So you get to the police station,
A la estación de policía.
your husband's there,
Su esposo está ahí.
Mr. Medina's there,
Señor Medina está ahí.
and you're all congregated, is that
Todos
right?
están juntados ahí. ¿Es
Sí.
correcto eso?
Yes.
Was there anyone else in the police station where you were?
¿Dónde estaban ustedes?
This is a report that one of our experts did.
Uno de nuestros peritos preparó.
Okay.
Okay.
Going to show you page 17 of Defendant's Exhibit
La
X.
prueba X del acusado.
There is a woman in that photograph.
En esa foto.
Sí.
Yes.
Is that the woman that came and talked to you?
Salió para hablar con ustedes.
Sí, trae ropa azul.
Who was going to clarify?
¿Qué dijo usted? No escuché.
Sí, trae su ropa azul.
Yes, she's wearing the blue clothing.
Lo que recuerdo.
That's what I remember.
And ma'am, I'm going to show you some more pictures
Mostrar unas otras fotos
with this woman.
con esta mujer.
Sí.
Yes.
Page 26 shows a good picture of her face.
Una foto cara de su cara.
Yes.
Is that the woman that you spoke to that night?
¿Esa es la mujer con quien usted habló esa noche?
Sí.
Yes.
How did she speak to you?
¿Cómo es que ella habló con usted?
Ella era muy educada y habló muy poco con nosotros.
She was very courteous and did not speak with us very much.
Did she speak to you in Spanish or English?
¿Ustedes en español o en inglés?
Español.
Spanish.
What did she tell you?
¿Qué les dijo?
Cuando ella llegó, saludó, buenas noches, preguntó si éramos familiares de Cristhian Baena, dijimos que sí.
Okay. When she arrived, she greeted us, good evening, and then she asked us if we were Christian's family. We said yes.
Después le dije yo, tenemos varias horas aquí esperando, nadie nos da información, queremos saber si necesitamos llamar un abogado o algo.
And then I said to her, we've been waiting here for several hours. No one has given us any information or spoken to us, and I want to know if we need to call an attorney or someone.
Did the woman give you an answer to
¿La
that?
mujer le dio una respuesta a eso?
Sí.
Yes.
What did she say?
¿Qué le dijo ella a usted?
Ella dijo, oh no, estamos en la última ronda de preguntas, en 10-15 minutos ya él va a salir.
She said, oh no, we're on the last round of questions, and in 10 or 15 minutes, he's going to leave.
So you were made to believe that your nephew would be returned to you quickly, is that
Entonces,
right?
Le hicieron pensar a usted que su sobrino iba a regresar con ustedes muy pronto. ¿Es
Sí.
correcto eso?
Yes.
Did the woman say anything about her Spanish?
¿La mujer le dijo algo acerca del español de ella?
No.
No.
Did you talk any more with the woman?
¿Usted habló más con la mujer?
No.
No.
So she then left, is that right?
Entonces se fue, ¿es
¿Es correcto eso?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you continue to wait?
¿Usted siguió esperando?
Sí.
Yes.
How much longer did you wait at the police station?
¿Cuánto tiempo más esperaron ustedes en la estación de policía?
Hasta la 1:30 de la mañana.
Until 1:30 in the morning.
At that time, what did you do?
En ese entonces, ¿qué hizo usted?
Estábamos, como te digo, con mi cuñado. Él dijo, no creo que ya nos vayan a dar información. Ya pasó más de los 10 y 15 minutos. So, es mejor que nos vayamos para ver si podemos buscar un abogado.
We were waiting there, and then my brother-in-law said, the 10 or 15 minutes has already gone by. It's better if we leave and go see if we can find an attorney.
Between the time that this woman came out
Esa mujer salió,
and when you
y cuando
left,
ustedes se fueron,
did anyone else come and talk to
¿alguien
you?
más entró para hablar con ustedes?
No, nadie.
No, no one.
Ma'am, your nephew, he was born in Mexico, is that right?
Señora, su sobrino, él nació en México. ¿Es
Sí.
correcto eso?
Yes.
And then he came to the United States,
Y luego
is that right?
Vino a los Estados Unidos. ¿Es
Sí.
correcto eso?
Yes.
Do you know how old he was approximately when he came to the United
Vino a
States?
los Estados Unidos?
No.
No.
Ma'am, is the police culture in Mexico different than the United States?
¿Cómo es en los Estados Unidos?
Irrelevant.
Eso sería
Overruled.
irrelevante, desestimado.
Sí, es muy diferente.
Yes, it's very different.
Describe how it is different.
Describe cómo es diferente.
En nuestra cultura, si un policía llega a hablar contigo, tienes que ceder porque por lo regular en México es violencia. O sea, si no cooperas, te pueden golpear.
Okay. So in our culture, normally if a police officer comes to talk to you, you have to agree because there is violence regularly in Mexico, and if you don't agree, they could hit you.
There were cameras in the police station, is that right?
Policía, ¿es correcto eso?
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
Did you assume that those cameras were working and someone could see you?
¿Usted suponió que esas cámaras estaban prendidas y que alguien le podía ver?
Sí, era una estación de policía.
Yes, it was a police station.
Did you ever attempt to get someone's attention
¿Trató de
through
llamar
those
la atención a
cameras?
alguien usando esas cámaras?
No.
No.
No further
No tengo
questions.
más preguntas.
Okay.
Cross-examination.
Contrainterrogación.
Ms. Valle, good morning.
Señora Valle, buenos días.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
You are related to
Es
Mr.
pariente
Rivera by
del
marriage.
señor Bageno Rivera por matrimonio.
Sí.
Yes.
Who is the blood relative
¿Quién es el
of
pariente de
Mr.
sangre
Rivera?
del señor Rivera?
Mi esposo.
My husband.
And is it his brother or sister's child?
Él es el hijo del hermano o hermana de su
Hermano.
esposo.
Brother.
Did your husband's brother ever come to the sheriff's
¿Su
office?
esposo en algún momento vino a la estación de policía?
No.
No.
Where does he live?
¿Dónde vive él?
México.
In Mexico.
So of the people at the sheriff's office, the other two,
Las otras dos personas.
your husband is a blood relative of
Su
Mr.
esposo
Rivera.
Es pariente de sangre del señor Bageno Rivera.
Sí.
Yes.
What about Mr.,
¿Qué
is it
tal
Medina?
¿Es el señor Medina?
Es esposo de la hermana de mi esposo.
He is the husband of my husband's sister.
Ajá.
Okay.
Sí, no.
Total time, how long were you at the sheriff's office?
En el tiempo total, ¿cuánto tiempo pasaron ustedes en la estación de policía?
Yo desde alrededor de las 8:30 hasta la 1:30 de la mañana.
From 8:30 in the evening until 1:30 in the morning.
At the time that you were at the sheriff's office, did you own a cell phone?
Estaban en la estación de policía. ¿Usted tenía un teléfono celular?
Sí,
Yes.
Did your husband own a cell phone and use one?
¿Su esposo tenía y usaba un teléfono celular?
sí,
Yes.
How about Mr. Medina? Did he own and use a cell phone, if you know?
¿Él
También.
tenía y usaba un teléfono celular?
sí.
Also, yes, he did.
At any time on August 20th
El 20 de agosto.
of 2018, did you receive any text or phone call from Cristhian Rivera?
Texto, una llamada del señor Bageno Rivera?
No,
No.
To your knowledge, did your husband receive any text or phone call from Cristhian Rivera?
De Cristhian Rivera?
no,
No.
How about Mr. Medina? Did he receive a text or phone call from Mr. Rivera?
Del señor Rivera?
no,
No.
You testified about Mr. Rivera's educational background.
De la educación del señor Rivera.
Whenever he came here from Mexico,
Cuando él vino
did he immediately gain employment somewhere?
él inmediatamente agarró un trabajo en algún lugar?
sí,
Yes.
Was that at Yerby
Eso
Farms?
fue en Yerby Farms.
sí,
Yes.
He was able to maintain a full-time job here in the United States, is that right?
Horas completas aquí en los Estados Unidos, ¿correcto?
sí.
Yes.
Do you know if he ever
Si él
went by any
en
different
algún
names?
momento usaba otros nombres.
No,
No.
Have you ever heard the name John
¿Usted
Budd?
ha escuchado el nombre John Budd?
no,
No.
Did Mr. Rivera maintain a presence on social media?
¿Tuvo una presencia en las redes sociales?
tenía redes sociales.
He had social media.
Okay. Are you familiar with Facebook?
¿Usted conoce Facebook?
Sí,
Yes.
Are you a member of Facebook?
¿Usted es miembro de Facebook?
sí,
Yes.
Were you Facebook friends with
¿Usted
Cristhian
era
Rivera?
amiga en Facebook con Cristhian Rivera?
no,
No.
Do you know Iris Gamboa?
¿Usted conoce a Iris Gamboa?
sí.
Yes.
And what is her relationship to Cristhian Rivera?
¿Qué es la relación entre ella y Cristhian?
Era la novia de Cristian, vivían juntos.
She was Christian's girlfriend. They lived together.
Did they have a child together?
¿Ellos tenían un niño junto?
Sí, una niña.
Yes, a girl.
Did Cristhian Rivera, in the time that you knew him while he lived here in the United States, have other relationships with other women?
¿Él tenía relaciones con otras mujeres?
No,
No.
How long had he and Iris Gamboa been
¿Cuánto
dating?
tiempo habían estado saliendo juntos él y Iris Gamboa?
mm, yo pienso que como unos 3 años.
I think about 3 years.
Do you know what vehicle
¿Usted sabe
Cristhian Rivera drove?
Cristhian Rivera manejaba?
Tenía un carro negro.
He had a black car.
Do you know if what type, what
¿Usted sabe
make or
qué
model it
marca,
was?
qué tipo o qué marca es?
No,
No.
Did he also drive a vehicle belonging to or used by Iris Gamboa?
¿Un vehículo que pertenece o que era de Iris Gamboa?
no que yo sepa.
Not that I know of.
Are you familiar with cars at all?
¿Usted conoce los carros muy bien?
No,
No.
Did you know Cristhian Rivera before he came to the United
¿Conocía a
States?
Cristhian Rivera o conoció a Cristhian Rivera antes de que él vino a los Estados Unidos?
no,
No.
So your regular contact that you had with him was in the 4+ years that he was here in the United States?
Durante el tiempo que él estaba aquí en los Estados Unidos.
sí,
Yes.
Was he able to carry on day to day?
Él pudo vivir día a día.
sí,
Yes.
He's able to keep a work
Fue
schedule?
capaz de mantener los horarios normales de trabajo.
sí.
Yes.
He had friends?
Él tenía amigos.
Oh, sí,
Oh, yes.
And you live in Tama,
Y
correct?
usted vive en Tama, ¿correcto?
sí,
Yes.
He drove up to visit you and your family, I would assume, on
Manejaba
occasion?
a usted y a su familia de vez en cuando.
Sí.
Yes.
Where did Iris Gamboa live? In
¿Dónde
Marshalltown?
vivía Iris Gamboa? ¿En Marshalltown?
no, vivían en Brooklyn.
No, they lived in Brooklyn.
Okay. Did Iris Gamboa ever live in
Iris
Tama
Gamboa
or another
en
place?
algún momento vivió en Tama o algún otro lugar?
No,
No.
Were you familiar with the type of work Mr. Rivera did at Yerby Farms?
Que el señor Rivera desempeñaba en Yerby Farms.
No,
No.
Did he ever talk about his work at Yerby Farms?
El trabajo de él en Yerby Farms.
no.
No.
Do you know who he lived with at Yerby
¿Con
Farms?
quién él vivía en Yerby Farms?
Ah, con su novia.
With his girlfriend?
Was that on the farm property?
Esto era en la propiedad de la granja.
Sí,
Yes.
Did you ever visit him at his
¿Usted alguna
home?
vez lo visitó a él en la casa de él?
sí, una sola vez.
Yeah, only once.
Usually when you would see him, he would come to your
Usualmente
residence.
Cuando usted lo veía, él venía a su casa.
Repite otra vez.
Repeat again?
Whenever you would
Cuando
usually
usted
visit him, it would be at your
lo veía a él,
residence.
Era en su casa.
Sí,
Yes.
Did you ever socialize with him outside of your
Se
residence?
socializaba con él o iba a lugares con él fuera de su casa.
sí.
Yes.
What types of things would you do
¿Qué clase de
together?
cosas ustedes
Ah,
hacían
cuando eran cumpleaños, fiestas de
Bueno.
familiares, todos nos juntábamos.
When there were birthdays, parties, all the family will gather together.
Whenever you would have conversations with Christian Rivera, was he able to understand you?
¿Él era capaz de entenderla a usted?
Sí,
Yes.
Did he ever demonstrate any type of mental illness or weakness that you could see?
¿Alguna, bueno, problema de salud mental o debilidad que usted hubiera podido darse cuenta?
no.
No.
Hang on just a second, Judge.
Bueno, un momento, pues.
Tell me again
Dígame de nuevo.
how you found out Christian Rivera was at the sheriff's office.
Es que descubrió que Cristhian Rivera estaba en la oficina del alguacil.
Estábamos yo y mi esposo juntos en casa, habló mi cuñada para decir que a Cristian se lo habían llevado del trabajo.
Well, my husband and I were together at home, and then my sister-in-law called to let us know that Christian had been taken.
And the sister-in-law, what is her
La
name?
cuñada, ¿cuál es el nombre de ella?
Romana Medina.
Romana Medina?
And is that Luis Medina's wife?
Y esa es la esposa de Luis Medina.
Sí,
Yes.
Do you have any knowledge as to how she found out Christian Rivera was at the sheriff's
¿Algún
office?
conocimiento cómo es de que ella descubrió que Cristhian Rivera estaba en la oficina del alguacil?
no.
No.
Christian Rivera is a native Spanish speaker, is that correct?
Bueno, es una persona nativa que habla español, ¿es esto correcto?
Sí,
Yes.
He would be more comfortable speaking Spanish than trying to attempt English?
Hablar español que tratar de atentar a hablar en inglés.
sí.
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you very
Eso
much.
es todo lo que tengo, gracias.
Any redirect?
No questions. No preguntas.
Ma'am, thank you for being here. You're
Señora,
excused.
gracias por estar aquí, puede irse.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Witness has a question. Can I go and sit here?
Defense may call their next witness.
Your Honor, the defense calls Luis Medina.
Luis Medina.
Morning, sir. I'll swear you in before you're seated. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Would you be seated right there, please? Go ahead.
State your name, please.
Luis Medina,
Mr. Medina, please spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
Luismedina.
If you would, just scoot a little closer to the microphone. Kind of hard to hear there, bud. And how old are you, Luis?
41.
And where do you live?
I live in Tama.
Are you married?
Yes.
You have any children?
Yes.
How many kids you have?
5.
Are you employed?
Yes.
Where do you work?
Do electrical work.
You do electrical work?
Yep.
You do electrical work?
Yes.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Were you born in the United States or you naturalized?
Naturalized.
And when did you become naturalized?
I would say 4 years ago. Wow.
Where were you born, sir?
Mexico.
Where at in Mexico?
Guanajuato.
Can you spell that?
Guanato.
What is your relationship to Cristhian Bageno Rivera?
He's the nephew of my wife.
And how long have you known Cristhian Bageno Rivera?
Ever since he came to the United States.
Can you give us a time frame?
Oh, God. I would say maybe 8 years ago.
Ever since he come to Iowa?
Right.
So to the best of your knowledge, he came from Mexico and moved here to Iowa.
Right.
Has it always been here in the Tama County, Poweshiek County, Marshall County area?
Right.
Have you ever known Cristhian Bageno Rivera to speak English?
No.
So he's a Spanish speaker?
Right.
How about you? Are you bilingual?
A little bit, yeah.
Pretty much all English now?
Sometimes it's, yeah.
And can you speak Spanish?
Right, a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's hard sometimes. You don't speak much. Sometimes it's hard too, even English. I mean.
When did you come to this country?
When I was 5 years old.
So English was basically your first language.
Yeah, it was Spanish through the house.
Since the time that you've known Cristhian Bageno Rivera, have you known him to socialize in the community?
He used to play soccer team. They're in Marshalltown, Tama. Just parties, and he was a godfather for my daughter also, church.
When you would see him socialize, did he seem to keep pretty much with other Hispanics?
No, he was kind of more like quiet, I guess. Just, I don't think he knew any much people around here, just us.
I guess my point is the people he did know, were they also Hispanic or were they Anglo?
Oh, they were Hispanic.
So the people he chose to associate with while here were primarily Hispanic, right?
Right.
And you knew he worked at Yarby Farms?
I believe, well, yeah. We're here in Brooklyn.
Pardon, here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Wherever.
Now, Mr. Medina, had you known if during the time that Mr. Bageno Rivera had been in the United States, to your knowledge, Had he ever had any prior contact with law enforcement in the
No.
States?
Like, no, I'm aware, no.
So on August 20th of this past year, did you get contacted that Cristhian Bageno Rivera had come into contact with law enforcement?
Yes.
And who contacted you?
My wife,
And what was the nature of that contact? What were you told?
that he got, he's being questioned at the Power Shit jail, sheriff's office.
What time of day was this where you were advised this information?
I was, about 7.
Did anyone give you any information as to why he was being questioned?
Not when I got there, no. They just asked me if I knew him. What was he, you know?
Let me stop you there. Before you left,
Mm-hmm,
because we're assuming now that you went to Poweshiek County, right?
mm-hmm,
Yes? You have to answer out loud. You have to say yes.
yes.
But before you left to go anywhere, did anyone advise you as to why Cristhian Bageno Rivera was at the Poweshiek County Jail?
No,
You just knew he was there and being questioned.
right.
So based upon that, what did you do?
I hit that way,
So you headed toward the jail.
right.
What was your purpose in doing that?
Find out what's going on.
Did you go alone?
No, I went with my kid.
How old's your kid?
Right now, he's 14.
So he's a teenager, right?
Yeah. He was at football practice, so I picked him up.
Do you recall approximately what time you arrived at the Poweshiek County Jail?
I would say about 7:30, 35.
And when you arrived, was there any other family members there?
No.
Tell us what you did when you first arrived.
I arrived and pushed that button.
Okay, so let me stop you there. When you arrive at the sheriff's office, there's an entry door, right?
Right,
Yeah, it's a double door.
right,
You go in that double door, and then there's another entry door into the lobby.
right.
Was that door locked?
Yes,
So there's a button off to the side that you can push for assistance,
right,
and you push that button.
right.
What happened next?
I asked for him info. They didn't know nothing about it. And then some gentleman, they let me in, and they told me go sit like towards the front. There's 2 chairs there.
Okay, let me stop you there. So you push the button,
Mm-hmm.
yes?
Yes,
Somebody responded over the speaker?
right.
What'd you tell them?
I need info about Cristhian Bageno.
Okay. And was there a response over the speaker?
Yeah, they didn't know about it, but they let me in.
So they opened the double door
Right.
and let you and your son into a
No,
larger...
not my son. I told my son to stay in the vehicle.
Okay. So they let you into the lobby area.
Right.
You still dressed in work clothes?
Yes.
So you're in the lobby area,
Mm-hmm.
yes?
Yes.
What'd you do then?
I sat down there.
Okay.
And then I got approached by 2 officers, I think it was from the FBI, DCI. And then they interrogate me, ask me who I was, how I knew him. And then he's just being questioned. It's a brief question, like 15 minutes. It's going to be, you know. I said, okay.
Let me stop you there. How long did you have to sit and wait before these 2 men approached you?
Probably 5 minutes.
Okay. These 2 men who approached you, describe their appearance.
Well, one was kind of heavy set and the other one was kind of medium.
Were they wearing uniforms?
They were wearing clothes.
Plain
Like-
clothes?
Like, yeah, I would say regular regular clothes, like professional clothes, like,
Okay.
I mean,
And they asked you some questions,
right.
like who you were and what you were doing there?
Yeah, how I know him.
Okay. And you responded to all those questions?
Yes.
Okay. And after you responded to all those questions, what happened next?
They went back there, where they went. And I sit there.
Let me stop you there. Did they advise you about the length of time you would be expected to wait?
Yeah, they say it's about 15 minutes.
Okay. They told you he was just being questioned?
Right.
Were you advised as to what he was being questioned about?
Yes. They say if I knew that if he knew about Mollie, I said, well, everybody knows about it. It's all over the news. You know, so that's what I said.
Okay. But they specifically asked you if Cristhian knew anything about Mollie.
They asked me if he knew her. I just said, I don't think so. I don't know.
But then they told you another 15, 20 minutes?
Right. That he was just being questioned briefly. And
Okay. So after they left, what'd you do?
I waited there
For how long?
probably another 20, 25 minutes more.
Okay.
And they came back out again.
Who's they?
The
Same two guys?
if I remember, I think so. There was, you know,
Well, at least two
guys. Yeah.
two officers?
Yep. And then they asked me the same questions. And I told him that they were asking me about where he worked, what shift. And I just advised him, well, why don't you ask her where he works at, you know, what shift, because I had no idea what shift. I just know he worked in the mornings or whatever. So,
Okay. So how long this little bit of questioning have you last?
it was brief also, about 5 minutes of questioning. So,
Did they say any more about how much longer the questioning was going to take?
the same thing, it'd be, ain't gonna be no more than 15 minutes.
So twice now you're told by the officers another 15 minutes?
Right.
What time of day was this now? Do you have an idea?
Close, probably 8, 10, 15.
Okay. What do you do at this point?
I got up and I went outside to check on my boy. And then I was trying to get a hold of his aunt and uncle.
That would be Alejandra?
Alejandra, yeah, they were on their way here.
And they were on the way to the jail already?
Yeah.
Did you have any more contact with law enforcement that night?
I tried, but they were trying to avoid me
Why do you say that?
because I was waiting there for a long time and say, you know, and then keep asking, like ask that lady, push that button, and it's like she didn't know nothing about it. So I was kind of getting frustrated, you know. So we just out there waiting like a bunch of dummies.
How many times did you push that little speaker button to get their attention?
Throughout the whole night, 10 times.
So, let's say 8:15, you go back outside and check on your son, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
Right.
You never were let back inside the lobby?
No, Alejandra came in, and we were out there together in the lobby, and I told her about it, said, oh, they said about 15 minutes, whatever. And then it's been a while, we're right there talking, like, I don't know what's going on. And then I go outside, I come back, and she's already talking to a lady, like, she was wearing blue. She must have been an interpreter. And And she told us, when I came in, she's talking to her, and she told, and I heard it too, saying, oh yeah, he's just being questioned a little bit, like about 15 more minutes, it's almost over.
Was that conversation in English or Spanish?
I think it was in Spanish.
You can understand Spanish?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this woman, she was Hispanic as well,
Right.
dressed in plain clothes?
Yeah, she was, I know she was wearing a dark blue, like, almost like that blue.
Okay. Now, so you heard now for the third time that it's almost over?
Right.
Do you talk to this woman at all?
Yeah, I told her that that's what they've been saying. They don't want to give me no info. And she goes, yeah, I understand. You know, that's the process.
Okay. And were there any officers with that woman?
Oh, God. I really don't remember.
Okay. Now, after that happened, did you have any more contact with law enforcement?
Outside in the same guy that questioned me, I tried to stop him because he was going somewhere, and I tried to ask him what was going on, but he just
Drove
took
away.
off. Right, he just avoided contact with me.
What time was that?
It was late then, by 11.
A couple hours later?
Yeah.
So, can you kind of recall what time you would have seen or participated in the conversation with the lady in the blue shirt who you thought was the interpreter?
That would between 10 and 11.
Okay. After 10 or 11, you had no contact with any law enforcement?
Yeah, right.
Go back in and push the button anymore?
Yeah, I tried a few times, but they weren't coming out.
Were you getting any response through the speaker?
Yeah, they just say that they're gonna get a hold of them, but nobody showed up.
You couldn't get back inside the lobby anymore?
No,
Did you try any alternate ways to get into the jail that night? A back door, perhaps?
no.
How long did you stay at the jail?
I left there at about 1:30 in the morning
Why'd you finally decide to leave at 1:30 in the morning?
because I wasn't getting nowhere, no info, no nothing.
Was it becoming apparent to you that,
That something was going on. Right.
so, what was the purpose of leaving? I mean, did you have any other alternative, motives other than just leaving?
I gotta go work next day.
Were you going to get Christian a lawyer?
Well, yeah, we talked about it. Me and Alejandra, like, yeah, best thing is get a lawyer because it doesn't look right.
And did you in fact do that the next morning?
Right. Alejandra is the one that took care of all that.
All right. That's all I have.
Cross-examination?
I need to plug in the
Go ahead.
outlets. Mr. Medina, is that right?
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just have a few questions for you. How long have you known Christian Rivera?
Ever since he came here to the United States.
Okay. And he came here at what age?
I don't know, but he was young. When he came here, I even asked him if he wanted to go to high school.
Had he been in the United States for about 4 years prior to being arrested for Mollie Tibbetts' murder?
I would say so.
Does that sound right to you?
Yeah. So 8 years, I think.
In that 4-year period, who would you say he was closest to, you or the Valles?
Bias.
And by the Valles, It's Alejandra, is that correct?
Right,
And her husband is Delfino?
right.
Whenever you got to the sheriff's office, Mr. Medina, you had to push a button in order for them to let you into the lobby, correct?
Right.
It was after regular hours, would that be true?
I don't know what's regular hours. All I know the time I write there.
What, and you said it was about 8:30
About 7.
7 p.m.?
7:30.
PM
Right,
in the evening.
right.
There was nobody that was at the window in the sheriff's office or any other law enforcement that you could see once you got in the lobby, correct?
There was a lady there
A lady physically at the window?
at the window.
Okay,
Yep.
did you talk to her?
Yeah, I asked her about Cristhian, and she didn't know nothing. She didn't know who she was.
So whenever you left the lobby at some point, correct?
Right,
Whenever you walked back out the door, you just pushed the bar and walk out, correct?
right,
Then there's 2 doors,
right.
right? So getting out of the sheriff's office, you don't have to push a button to get out, correct?
I don't think so. I don't.
Well, you just walked out the door,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Walked out both doors?
Right.
And you were parked out in the public area
Right.
in the sheriff's office, is that correct?
Right.
Your son was waiting on you out there?
Right.
Did he wait with you the whole time?
Yes.
Did you have a cell phone with you that night?
Yeah.
Did Cristhian Rivera ever contact you?
No.
Did he ever send you a text message?
No.
Did he ever call you?
No.
You were notified that he was at the sheriff's office by who again?
Through my wife,
What's your wife's name?
Romana.
Romana?
Yep.
Medina?
Right.
And what's her relation to Cristhian Rivera?
She's the aunt.
She's an aunt?
Yeah.
So does that mean that your wife is the sister of Cristhian mother or father?
I would say father.
It's my understanding that Cristhian Rivera's father is still in Mexico?
Right.
So did you contact Alejandra and Delfino to come to the sheriff's office?
No.
How do you know, if you know, how were they notified to come to the sheriff's office?
I would assume by my wife.
You don't know that though.
I don't know.
How long were you at the sheriff's office before Alejandra and Delfino came?
I would about an hour or less.
So they would have arrived sometime around 8 p.m.?
I would say about 8:30.
To your knowledge, did they have cell phones with them?
Yeah.
Have you communicated with Alejandra and Delfino by cell phone before?
No.
You haven't? Do you ever text with anybody?
Yeah.
Do you call people on your phone? You mainly just text?
I don't text.
Well, you have a cell phone, correct?
Right.
So do you use it to call?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you. All right, you don't text anybody, is that right?
I avoid it.
Okay. Do you also communicate by cell phone with Alejandra or Delfino?
That day or?
No, at any time.
Anytime. Yeah, when I need to talk to them. Yeah.
You call them?
Yeah.
So they have cell phones as well.
Right.
We have to let them switch. You talked a little bit about what Cristhian Rivera did in his time when he's not working.
Mhm.
So he was a soccer player?
Yeah.
He played on a soccer team?
Right.
Did you ever know him to go by any other names?
No.
Have you ever heard the name John Budd?
No.
Did you ever talk to Cristhian about what he did at work?
No.
Do you have any knowledge about the job that Cristhian Rivera did at work?
Well, I know he worked with dairy farm.
Did he ever complain to you about working at Yerby Farms?
No,
Did he appear to enjoy the job?
I don't know.
Did you have that much contact with Cristhian Rivera?
Oh, he's a godfather of my daughter. He used to go visit to my house, take his little daughter. So
Whenever he would visit your house, would you speak to him?
I would say hi and shake his hand, and he'll talk to his aunt.
Did you ever get into any conversations with him about his life or how things were going?
No.
So you weren't that close to Cristhian Rivera, would that be true?
Right. Well, I at one point I gave him my vehicle so he could drive to work. I
Let him
one-
borrow your car one time?
I gave it to him actually. Like, here, use this car. So.
But would it be true that you're not very close to him?
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Medina. That's all the questions I have.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, thank you for being here. You're excused. You may exit the courtroom. Defense can call their next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, we would offer defendants Exhibit BB, which is the affidavit of Cristhian Bageno Rivera.
Are you saying he's not available to testify?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Brown, I've read your November 6th objection to that. Anything you want to add?
If he's, well, just to make the point that an affidavit is sworn by a notary, it is the equivalent of testimony. If that's true, then he should be cross-examined if the court accepts the affidavit. We should be entitled to cross-examine him. If not, the court should not consider the affidavit. That's our position.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Sure.
Your Honor, we filed a supplemental motion to suppress and laid out the consular rights. As the court is probably well aware, this is not an argument that has been made in Iowa. I don't think that there is any Iowa case law on consular rights. However, the defendant would rely on United States versus Rangel Gonzalez, 617 F2D 529. It's a Ninth Circuit case out of 1980. That case establishes that a defendant can, by means of his own affidavit, show that he did not know of his consular rights. There is a relaxed rule on suppression, and I think that it is appropriate in this case. We were very careful that we only laid out the consular rights and the 80420 rights in the affidavit. This is a one-page affidavit. I think that it is allowed pursuant to the rules. We do not intend to subject our client to cross-examination, and we would ask the court to consider the affidavit in its entirety.
The choice is yours. If you want BB in, I'll allow it, but the state is going to be allowed to cross-examine the defendant as to the contents of the affidavit. So with that, tell me what you want to do.
Your Honor, we will not allow our client to be cross-examined, so if that is the court's ruling, then I think that the error has been preserved. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Brown, on that issue?
Well, just two things. I know you've already ruled, Judge, but just to make sure the record's clear. Two parts of the affidavit relate to whether or not he understood his Miranda rights, which goes beyond what Ms. Freeze just indicated, and that he was scared of invoking his rights. So it's also hearsay, which is what I pointed out in my written objection. So with that, I just want to make that further record.
And again, I think your written objection makes that clear, and, well, at the risk of being redundant, I was willing to allow BB into evidence, but only under the caveat that the state would have the right to cross-examine Mr. Rivera. Given that, it's my understanding that BB is being withdrawn. Is that correct?
Your Honor, it's not being withdrawn. We still offer the exhibit. We ask the court to consider all of the exhibit. The other alternative that the court would have would be just to consider part of the exhibit as it relates to the consular rights pursuant to the case I just cited. We would ask the court to do that, and we understand that the court is not allowing the exhibit into evidence unless we allow our client to be cross-examined, and we are not willing to do so.
BB has been offered by the defense, and BB will not be accepted into evidence. Defense can call their next witness.
Your Honor, we have 2 expert witnesses remaining. Both of those expert witnesses, we will need to utilize technology and set that up, so I would suggest that now would be an appropriate time for a break.
We'll do that. We'll be in recess for the next 15 minutes, and we'll resume then. Thank you.
Después de eso. Gracias.